Hey, welcome to Chaplain Chat. I'm actually at the Veterans Office, but I'm really was looking for what?
Young Life.
Young Life, and now we know where they're at. They're
Right.
just across over there.
And now you ran into an Old Life.
And I know. And I was asking Bill, Charlie. Well, I was asking Bill where Young Life, and then we found out where. But I had the greatest time just being with you right now, Bill. This is a God moment, and I'm gonna, yeah, and I'm gonna. Now I know where you guys are at. You're not far from the Care Pregnancy Resource Center. I pray for them. I'm gonna walk over here and I'll pray for them, and I'm probably gonna do Young Life now and be. So I might pick up two places to pray as chaplains.
That's right.
But Bill, this is so great. There's so much we shared about. But you shared in particular two stories. One about a chaplain.
Yes.
And one about you.
Yes.
Share that with me.
Okay, the one that I'll start with is we lost here in our veteran community one of our most esteemed members in December of this year or last year. His name is Vito Mastrangelo. Wonderful man. He lived to be 98 years old, and he was our last surviving Omaha Beach survivor that I know of within our Kern, Fresno, Tulare counties. I mean, he was on the fifth wave at Omaha Beach. And one night he shared with me a particular memory about the night before they hit the beach. Well, what had happened, the U.S. Army had a secret influx of chaplains come into England prior to the invasion, because unlike the atheistic Nazi, our enemies that we were fighting, the United States has as our motto, "In God We Trust." Well, they actually implement that. It's the real deal. So they brought all these chaplains. They got a chaplain on each troop ship out there to channel. And on Vito's troop ship, there happened to be in this case a Catholic priest, and he had two good friends there that he had been. I don't recall their names. I don't think he shared with us those names on this one of our conversations, because my wife Janet Goodrow and he were good friends, and we were very blessed to have many conversations with Vito. But on this particular conversation, he shared that the two of his friends, that they were having kind of some religious banter with each other. His one buddy was a good, firm Southern Baptist who was.
I know those because I'm a Baptist.
Okay.
Yeah, darn right.
Giving a heck about being Catholic.
Darn right.
And then the other soldier was a Jewish kid, and they were both giving him hell in the name of the Lord, so to speak, for being Jewish. Well, the chaplain knew and had anticipated that the casualty rate was going to be pretty tough. So the chaplain that night the priest invited the chaplain, it just had to be a Roman Catholic priest, invited those young men who wanted to come to communion to come forward, because he said, in a few hours, you're all going to be in God's hands and God's arms, and I want you to be in God's heart.
Wow.
And so he invited everyone to come forward to communion.
Wow.
And they did. His Southern Baptist buddy came forward to communion. His Jewish friend came forward to communion. Vito went to communion. He never saw them alive again. And the reason I always felt that's a powerful story, in that later on, as I became older, and I reflected on my times in Vietnam, I realized that I wish we were more attuned to using love as a bridge and making deep connections with each other than dividing ourselves artificially about our different denominations. Because I can assure you, when you're in real danger, you'll pray.
What's it? No atheists in Fox.
Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes it's sad when I hear people really bitterly debate each other about their religious differences, and with us, and I'll leave this memory I just shared with John, that when you're in the real mix of things, you don't have the luxury, because it's a great luxury. You can be prejudiced against each other due to your racial divisions or your religious division. That's a great luxury. You can be prejudiced against each other, because when you're really in the soup, man, when there's no other option, you got to take what's coming to you that night. There's no way to get around it. You are in it. You'll have, I think, a sense of poverty in that you realize that all these differences that we seem to multiply and build upon are so meaningless.
Wow. Wow.
Because this one particular night, as I shared with John, we were really getting the hell blown off. I was in a protected bunker that had a roof on it so I could smoke. and because you wouldn't see the cigarette light outside the bunker. So we're really getting smacked, and I lit up a cigarette. Now this wasn't the first time I'd been through an attack, but it was just not a good night. And I suddenly realized after I lit my cigarette up, there was this orange stick in front of me over here. Then it was over here, and then it was over here. It was right in front of me, and I thought, what is that? And then I realized it was the end of my lit cigarette. I didn't realize I was shaking that bad. So, you know, because when you're really terrified, when you don't know what's going to happen to you next, you don't know. You don't even know if you're having the luxury of having a next moment.
Wow. Wow.
And I'll tell you, like I said, I'll admit, you're scared. And so, as I was just saying with John, then after a little bit or however long it was, they stopped hitting right where I was at and moved their direction of their attack. And in those few seconds before we realized no more rounds were coming down on us, I realized I was hearing things, and that was my fellow soldiers praying.
Wow. Wow.
So this one young man, he was a Hispanic soldier, and I knew what growing up Catholic here in Visalia, I knew what going to a parochial school. I knew what a prayer called the Hail Mary sounded like in Spanish. And this young tough kid,
Wow.
he was saying that out loud in Spanish. And then this one brother, a brother of arms, but also a young black soldier from Alabama, I remember. And he had such an Alabama accent. We used to tease him and say, "Get the Vietnamese translator over here. We can't understand it." And he said, "You crackers, just leave me alone, man. Just leave me alone." And then I realized he was reciting the 23rd Psalm.
Wow. He had that memorized by heart.
Oh, yes. And then I suddenly realized I was saying something.
Wow.
And what I was repeating was from the Our Father, and that was, "Forgive me my trespasses, forgive me my trespasses." So it's just a young life, a man looking for young life, found an old life. But by God, I'm a grateful life.
You know, this Bill, this has turned out to be an awesome day for me. And now I'm going to find young life, and I'll probably have an awesome time over there. I'm going to come back, and I'm your chaplain. But boy, what a blessing! I do want to thank you guys for watching, and John, I really want to thank you for being on. And you just say Chaplain Chat.
Chaplain Chat.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you.
Chaplain Chat.